Hello students, in this video I shall continue discussing human digestive system for standard 9, and for that chapter digestive system, this is video number 4. Here it is, digestive system, video number 4 for class 9. Today in this video I shall discuss salivary glands, its composition and function, along with the process of swallowing. Salivary glands, there are three pairs of salivary glands: parotid glands, submandibular glands, and sublingual glands. There are three pairs of salivary glands around the human buccal cavity, around the mouth. Inside our face, of course, around the mouth, these glands are located. They are, first pair of parotid gland mentioned, parotid gland located just in front and beneath the each ear. Inside of our face, beneath the each ear, there are located, and they secrete their secretion into the mouth cavity by means of ducts. All these glands are duct glands or exocrine glands. They secrete slimy and sticky substance to the saliva. Our saliva is slightly sticky and slimy, which helps the movement of the food bolus and food materials. The slimy substance, mucilage, is secreted by parotid glands. Number 2, submandibular glands. These two glands, all of them are paired gland, means 2-2, one right side, one left side. Submandibular glands lying close to the inner side of lower jaw, inner side of the lower jaw. Lower jaw is this, and inner side of that is submandibular glands, one pair on each side, lower jaw on each side. It secretes watery substance. Watery substance it is secreting. And the third pair of glands are sublingual glands. This pair of glands located below the tongue. You will always feel your mouth wet and fluid. Appearance of fluid is there inside your mouth. Never allow the mouth to dry up. Is the sublingual glands. Pair of glands located below the tongue. It also secretes watery substance. Together, all these three sets of glands, three pairs of glands, whatever they secrete in mouth, together form saliva. Together, the secretion of all the above three pairs of glands produce saliva. So now, let us see the composition of saliva, what they are made out of. Composition of saliva. The saliva is slightly acidic in nature, very slightly acidic in nature, with an average pH value 6.7. 7 is the neutral point, and 6.7 means close to 7. So it's a very, very faint acidic in nature. It contains 99% water, maximum is water, and 1% dissolved salts. Dissolved salts, 99% water, but it is also contains certain kinds of fluid like enzymes, etc. Mucus and starch splitting enzyme called salivary amylase. In this saliva, there is a starch splitting enzyme is present, that is called ptyalin, silent P. Silent P. It is also called salivary amylase. Starch splitting enzyme called salivary amylase or ptyalin. This breaks down starch partially. About digestion we will study later. Saliva also contains a very important thing is that saliva contains a germ killing substance. Saliva contains a germ killing substance called lysozyme, which has got antiseptic abilities. If any germ come with our food or anything, this has been killed or neutralized by the enzyme like substance called lysozyme, which is having antiseptic abilities. Now this salivary glands we need to see in a particular condition. So let us see a picture showing a side view of human mouth indicating the locations of the salivary gland. Look at that. The mouth outline is given. The parotid glands and their ducts and the sublingual and submandibular glands are located from the side view of the mouth. That was the locations of all the salivary glands in our mouth, though it was visible from one side, but that indicates the exact location of the glands. Now let us come on to the functions of saliva. There are a number of functions saliva performs. One by one they have been listed and I explain each of them. Functions of saliva. Saliva in our mouth performs a number of functions. They are: number one, it moistens and lubricates the inner surface of the mouth. We always keep our inner surface of the mouth and the tongue and all the parts wet, and that is very important for surfaces of the tongue also, to help the manipulation of food, for manipulating of food, swallowing of food, and not the least, the last but not the least, the process of speaking, manipulating the food, swallowing and speaking. This is necessary that our mouth remains all the time moist. Second point, it also lubricates the food, that helps in swallowing. Swallowing is a kind of a reflex action which is required a very smooth and continuous work that need the food materials to go into the esophagus, and it needed to be very smooth and fast, and that is been ensured by saliva. It lubricates, it becomes slippery. The slimy substance present in the saliva makes that lubrication of food that helps in swallowing, fast and effective swallowing. Third point, it acts as a solvent, dissolving the food materials to stimulate taste buds for tasting, and act as a medium to allow enzymes to act on the food. The food materials that we eat is needed to be dissolved in fluid so that it can be tested. Taste buds present on the tongue that I have already explained in previous video. Taste buds are actually chemoreceptors. They receive fluid substances. So when the saliva dissolves the food material, that is going into the taste pore of the taste bud, and the sensory cells present in the taste buds pick up the sensation and send signal to the brain. We can understand the taste. So there is the tasting the food. This taste of food help in secretion of more saliva so that our digestion process becomes effective. So there is taste buds for tasting, and this also acts as a medium. You know that the medium of reaction is always, most of the time, is water, which helps the reaction of the enzymes or any other reaction you talk about, inorganic chemistry you might have studied. The medium, if it is water, then the reaction takes place smoothly. So this saliva helps the medium of reaction by the enzyme. So it helps as a medium to allow enzyme act on the food. One enzyme present in our saliva, that is also being helped. It helps the number 4. It helps the food particles to stick together to form a food bolus. A rounded food ball is formed during the time of chewing. The food is manipulated by tongue, and after manipulation the small particles should stick together so that they can be swallowed together. If they are not sticking together, then they will be spread all over the mouth and it will be very difficult to swallow. Not only that, small particles may go into our respiratory tract, that is very dangerous. So this sticky condition of saliva helps the food particles to stick together to form a food ball. We call it food bolus, that helps in effective swallowing. And number 5, the enzyme tiling, that has already been discussed in the composition. ptyalin or salivary amylase. Remember the name, any one of these two you remember, salivary amylase or ptyalin, silent P, digest starch in the food partially into maltose. The one-step digestion they are doing, but that also not fully. Suppose you have taken 100 gram of starch material for a food, all the 100 grams of food will not be converted partially digested. A little part of it will be digested by that ptyalin. That's why it is partially into maltose. Starch converted into maltose. Maltose is the double sugar or disaccharide. It is a one-stage digestion. But that also partially will be done, fully not done. Fully will be done later in the alimentary canal. So that is partial digestion. Number 6, it cleans the mouth and teeth and destroy germs to prevent tooth decay because it contains lysozyme. As I told you, lysozyme has got antiseptic ability. So they kill germ, if any, comes with the food and clean the mouth in such a way so that the teeth is not get decayed. It cleans the mouth and teeth, destroy germs, not only for the teeth but also for our body. The germ killing ability is very helpful for us. And number 7, it provides a feeling of thirst. If you feel your mouth is drying up due to certain conditions, drying up means you need water to drink. So a feeling of thirst is created, and that is needed for the body. That's why it is created. So this, in a way, help in water balance in the body. So it also helps in osmoregulation or water balance in the body. Next we go on to the process of swallowing. Here it is, the process of swallowing. Swallowing is a kind of a reflex action, and if you see it in a descriptive way, it will appear that it's very complicated, but it takes place instantaneously. Let us see the sequences of the stages. It requires 3 simultaneous actions. Swallowing is a type of reflex action which requires 3 simultaneous action. Action number 1, the tongue presses upward and backward. The tongue presses upward and backward of the upper roof of our mouth, that is the palate, against the palate of the mouth, and that forces the food backside of our mouth towards the throat or pharynx. That mouth and forces the food bolus into the throat or pharynx by pressing it from the front against the palate. It forces the food towards the throat. Second point, the soft palate, backside of the palate is soft, front part of the palate is hard. The soft palate part, the backward of our upper roof of our mouth, along with uvula, the U-shaped small delicate structure, this part is raised up due to the pressing, number 1, and raised up closing the opening of nasal chamber, our mouth palate separating the nasal chamber from the mouth, and that is the area at the back of our mouth, upper side, which is having the internal nares of the nasal chamber. So this soft palate along with uvula raised up, closing the opening between the throat and nasal passage, nasal chamber. This is called internal nares, so that food particles do not go up into the nasal chamber and come out through the nose. So that is the second step. Third step is, these are taking place very instantaneously and together. Third step is the larynx, the voice box that is present at the base of your throat, that is located at the entrance of windpipe. The beginning of windpipe is the voice box, is pulled upward by means of muscular action. So bring it close to the back of the tongue. It comes back of the tongue in such a way that the epiglottis, a flap is there and joined at the end of it. That epiglottis is made loose and it closes the entrance of the windpipe, that is the glottis. Epiglottis can close the opening of trachea or glottis. because windpipe is not the area where food should enter. It is an air pipe for respiration, breathing. This ensure no food particle enter into the respiratory tract. That is very important. If by chance any food particle enters in our respiratory tract, result in coughing, and it's dangerous also. Okay, so it ensures that no food particle enter into the respiratory tract or respiratory tube, and also allow the smooth surface of the food bolus, slipping the food bolus into the esophagus only, just making a kind of a slope and covering the windpipe also, and allow the slope to allow the food bolus into the esophagus only. And after esophagus, it goes out. So this is ending the process of swallowing. 3 steps. But describing requires this much time. But it takes very short period of time and takes place very fast. And during that time, remember, we are that very fraction of seconds, we do not breathe. So this is the reason why always people say never talk too much during the time of eating, because there is a chance of food particles enter into your respiratory tract. So this method I have tried to explain by collecting some pictures that I will be adding with the end of this video. The sequence of swallowing is shown in the following 3 pictures, and after seeing those you might understand the process of swallowing, and that will be the end of the video number 4, and we'll continue digestive system afterwards in another video. This is the picture sequentially given, 1, 2, 3. See, the green color one is the food bolus, and the blue color line shows the passage of air. See how the food bolus is only passing into the esophagus.